didn't work out as well as I had hoped. After about 15 takes of trying to get a good shot of that opening, I finally gave up. That was the best one I could come up with. But I think you guys get the idea. What's going on? I hope y'all are doing well. I want to give a big welcome to all of our new subscribers. Thank you guys for joining. As you guys know, a little while ago we received just an astonishing gift. We received that awesome brand new Lionel Legacy S1 steam engine here to the layout, and a real awesome piece. Along with that, we've also got a Legacy command system coming to operate that engine. I'm real excited to get my hands on it. Unfortunately, though, it's still not here. It hasn't showed up yet. I'm not sure when it will be arriving. However, for today's video, I thought we would take a look, or a little bit of a closer look, at the MTH DCS system. A real cool system in its own right. Actually, I really like the MTH system. This is something maybe for if you're looking to get a system, a DCS system of your own, or maybe for our Lionel brethren to see what this system is all about. I hope you guys enjoy this little video. As I'm sure you're well aware of, there is a ton of great O-Gauge related content out here on YouTube. Everything from train reviews, product reviews, scenery videos, operating sessions, and everything in between. And I love it all. I think it's all great. I think it's great for the hobby, and I think it's a great time to be in the hobby to share this fun. I do notice one reoccurring theme, though, especially with the train review videos. You always see the great bells, the whistles, and the horns, as well as the passenger freight announcements that you get with this awesome MTH DCS system. As I say, these are some great features, and probably are the creme de la creme, or the cream of the crop, if you will. This system offers a bunch more than just that. And in today's video, I figured we would look over some of those features that aren't really seen that much out here on YouTube, or maybe aren't demonstrated a whole lot. One thing I want to say before we get started, something I always like to say in these types of videos, I'm not an expert or a professional. I'm just a hobbyist like just about all of you guys. So take everything you're about to see in this video with a grain of salt. Take what you want or what you will from this video, and I hope it does help you out. Another thing I also want to mention, everything we're going to look at today applies to the MTH ProtoSound 2 and the newer ProtoSound 3 operating systems. Unfortunately, the original ProtoSound engines are not command control equipped. Those are only conventional only engines. Also, we're not going to be going over the whole MTH DCS system in its entirety. If we did, we'd probably be here for 2 days. There is a ton of great info out there. There's literally books, manuals, videos, old VHS, DVDs, all portrayed and aimed for this system. So like I say, we'd be here all day if we went over the whole thing. We're just going to be going over some of the select features that you don't get to see a whole lot of in this video. We have a great array of engines for demonstrating on today's video. Everything from the lower entry-level type products all the way up to the higher-end premier or premium type stuff here on the layout. To start off, we've got an MTH Premier Mikado built around 2005, equipped with ProtoSound 2, an MTH Rail King Alco PA built around 2001, again equipped with ProtoSound 2, a brand new MTH Premier Berkshire built in 2021, equipped with ProtoSound 3, as well as a brand new MTH Premier ES44AC equipped with ProtoSound 3. I'd have to say this is one of my favorite reasons for MTH. MTH has made it very easy and obtainable to build your empire, and somewhat budget-friendly. Everything that they build comes equipped with this system, granted ProtoSound 2 or ProtoSound 3. Let's say you go out and you buy yourself an MTH starter set, again equipped with ProtoSound 2 or 3. It comes equipped with this system. It's ready to run with this system. Then let's say a couple years down the road, or maybe a little bit down the road, you want to upgrade and get another engine. Again, it's equipped with the same system. Granted, the higher end stuff might have, better speakers and more features, but again, they all run off of the same systems. Lionel, it seems, is finally starting to catch on to that this last couple of years. The last several years with Lionel, if you bought a starter set, it came with its own dedicated remote. You could not operate it with their operating system, Legacy. Again, it seems like they're finally stepping up to the plate and getting on board with being able to operate on the same command system, but again, MTH has been doing this for the last 20 years. Starting off, we've got our DCS remote here. I like this remote a lot. I like the ergonomics of it. It feels good in the hand. And after using it for a little while, you get good muscle memory of where everything is located. So you can operate your trains without even ever having to look at the remote. You can automatically find out where the bell and the whistle is. This remote does receive some criticism as it's been out for so long, like I say, going on 20 years, if not longer now. You know, Lionel has come out with TMCC and then they've since upgraded to Legacy, whereas this remote has pretty much stayed the same ever since its conception. Personally, I don't think it needs to be updated or upgraded. This remote and system is still very relevant today in 2021 as it was 20 or more years ago. Two things I would like to see upgraded if it were to ever happen on this remote, if we could upgrade it, but again isn't a deal breaker, is options like the quilling whistles and horns. To operate them on this remote is a little bit more in depth and requires more steps, and you got to use the thumb wheel to control the whistle or horn, not as refined as the Legacy system. Another thing that would be a nice little upgrade on this remote is the screen itself. This screen is very hard to see in a poorly lit or dark room. You can kind of see it now. It looks okay here in the light, but once you get in a low lit room, this screen is very hard to see. They have built in and added a backlight function, which you can turn on. So again, not a deal breaker. But keep in mind, with this backlight on, as well as with it off, this remote sucks a lot of battery power. This thing chews through batteries like no tomorrow. It does take 4 AAA batteries, and like I say, it goes through them quite a bit. The one upgrade I did, and I would highly recommend, I picked up some rechargeable AAA batteries, spent the $20-25, whatever it was, to pick up a charger, and I've got 2 sets of batteries. That way I've always got some plugged in charging, and then when these go bad, I just swap them out and we're good to go. Moving on with the remote, here's the basic outlay of the remote. Don't be intimidated by it. It is easy to be intimidated by, and I was a little bit at first. However, it is quite a bit easier to operate and use than it looks. Up top here, we've got our soft keys for accessing certain or various features of the engines. You'll see you got an arrow on this last key. You can cycle through them. Again, like I say, these are just quick access to some of the features that the engine offers in this menu. If you scroll all the way over, you'll see you get the More option, and you can scroll through all the options and features in this particular menu. And you can customize this if you want. Let's say you wanted to move one of these out into the main soft keys, that way you don't got to come here to the menu to get it. You can move it around. I've never done this. Maybe we can try this in the future. Moving down, again, we're not going to go through everything. Like I say, we had the backlight button over here. You do have a microphone option, which you guys heard in the very beginning of this show. Obviously, as you can see, it's not the best feature. It's a little gimmicky, but hey, it's a lot of fun for the kids. What the hell, right? You can do track power. You can control conventional engines through this system. If you select this, you can pick a variable voltage track and control it with the thumb wheel. Instead of increasing the speed of the train, you're increasing voltage to the track. I'll demonstrate that a little bit later on. We've got our general outlay. We got, whistle, horn over here and your bell. The engine button here is your engine menu. You can click that and cycle through your engines, all the ones that are downloaded to your remote and on your layout. Obviously, directional control, the menu button for accessing sounds, control, and stuff like that, as well as the system, adding an engine in. Down here you got your buttons, coupler control, front and rear coupler, boost and brake, sound, labor, rev up and down, for if you're going up and down hills and mountains and whatnot, you can make the engine sound like it's working a little bit harder or maybe working a little bit less. Then you got your keypad down here with various functions. For instance, 1 turns the smoke on and off, 2 is volume up, 5 is volume down, 3 is your standard start up, 6 is your standard start or shut down, excuse me. Number 9 over here does the passenger freight announcement, so on and so forth. And of course you got your emergency stop and your Doppler effect. Pretty cool. One thing I forgot to mention with the microphone function, obviously the mic button is over here, but the microphone itself is located up top on the remote here. You can see the little grills for it right here. You press and hold this button and speak into the microphone here, and whatever you're saying is broadcasted through the speakers on the engines. As you guys heard in the intro, not really the best sound or maybe the best feature, possibly a little bit gimmicky, but is pretty cool nonetheless. As I'm sure you guys are well aware of, you can operate the Lionel TMCC system off of this DCS system. All you got to do is plug a TMCC base into the TIU of the DCS system, and this remote will program and operate Lionel engines. I've got a couple of them programmed in here right now. For instance, in this number 3 slot is that Lion Master Challenger from Lionel. If you select that engine, you'll notice on the soft keys up here, 2 of them turn into the aux 1 and aux 2 buttons, which we know is what's found on the TMCC or legacy remotes. To operate those engines in TMCC mode, you press the aux 1 button and that starts the engine up, but that also converts or turns this keypad down here into the same keypad that is found on the TMCC remote. So all of the stock basic functions of the TMCC keypad are now set up in this remote. You just don't pay attention to the wording for the DCS system under the various numbers and whatnot. I have found, though, this is not needed or mandatory. I can operate the Lionel engines without pressing the aux 1 button and run them just as I do the DCS command-equipped locomotives. Whew, it's a tongueful. But no, I found that I can use the standard startup and shutdown buttons on the DCS system, and the Lionel engines operate just fine. I don't know if it's built in to automatically convert the signal or what, but it works just fine. There is one function that doesn't work quite as refined or work well in that regard, and that is the smoke system. I can never seem to get them to turn on or off with the standard number 1 smoke on or off button on the DCS remote. To actually control them, I actually have to hit the aux 1 button, and as we know, 8 turns the smoke off, 9 turns it on. And that's how I have to run the smoke systems. But again, that's the way it's designed. I've just noticed you can't control it with the DCS system. But pretty cool that you can run both. You don't have to go out and get a whole TMCC or legacy setup to do this. All you need is the base. Plug it into the TIU and you're good to run both trains. What do you guys say we try a couple of these out real quick while we're here? I've got the Mikado up here on the remote, and let's go ahead and try the extended startup sequence. You can find it under the SSU soft key. I'm not sure what the SSU stands for. I can see the startup. What is the first S? Sequential? I'm not sure. Maybe one of you guys know. Let me know in the comments. But we'll go ahead and press that, and you'll hear the engine do an extended startup. You'll hear guys talking, the tender getting filled with coal, water, so on and so forth, the rods getting greased. This is aimed more at the steam engines, I think. You get a lot more of a startup sequence with these. The diesels, you get a little bit of dialogue, is she ready to go, yada yada yada. But like I say, this seems more aimed at the steam engines. Let's try starting up the normal startup with the Alco PA down here in the middle of the layout. See, it just starts right up and it's ready to go, no dialogue. The steam engine's still going on in the background. I went ahead and fired up the other 2 engines. We're all up and running. What do you guys say we check out some of these built-in horn and whistle sound effects that they have programmed into these soft key features? I've got the Alco PA loaded up. Let's take a listen to the forward signal. This will be 2 toots of the horn. Pretty cool. Let's swap over to the Mikado. And if we look for the SRS, that's the reverse signal, 3 toots. Well, let's check out the Berkshire. We've also got, if we can find it here, the XSS soft key. This is a crossing signal blow of the whistle. pretty cool sound effects. While we're here on the Berkshire, why don't we check out some of the cool features that this one has with its whistle. If you look through and find the FSW soft key and click it, you'll see that it is highlighted. This now activates the smoking whistle. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. See the smoke shooting out of the whistle? Now if we press the SPW soft key as well, you'll see that highlights. That now activates the quilling whistle, which, as I mentioned earlier, you control with the thumb wheel. Some good stuff. Like I say, not as refined as the Lionel system, but pretty cool nonetheless. Currently, I have the ES44 pulled up in the remote. Let's go ahead and check out some more of these features up here. Like I say, we're not going to go through all of them, but we're going to go through some of them. Up here in this menu, you can mainly turn on lights and activate sounds and stuff like that, and do some other really cool things as well. One of the things I really like, since I run the old ZW Transformers, the trains will tell me what the track voltage is. So for instance, right now, that train is seeing 18.2 volts. Pretty neat feature. Another really cool feature we can access here is we can measure the route or the loop that train is running in scale miles. What do you say we give that a try? We're going to go ahead and select it, and let's say it's measuring its route. Let's go ahead and start it up, move it out, and I will run the engine around the loop and try and stop that measuring route once it returns back to the exact point that it started from. Alright, so the engine's returning from around its run around the loop of the track. Once it gets to about where it was exactly at, I'm going to hit that button again, and it'll tell us how long that route was. Right about right there. So this loop measures 0.3 scale miles long. Not a very big loop of track, but a pretty neat feature, I think. While on the topic of mileage, I figured we'd go over two of the features these engines have that I'm not really a big fan of. I mentioned this in a previous video recently. Like I say, I'm not really a big fan of these. I'm probably going to give some people a heart attack here in a minute. But we're back on that Alco PA, which happens to be my first engine. We can scroll through this menu up here, and you'll notice we have two features here, the odometer and the chronometer. Let's check out the odometer for this engine. That engine has 5,958.2 scale miles on it. Oh, it must be junk. But as you can see, she's still here running like a top. Let's go ahead and check out the chronometer. That engine has 534 hours of runtime on it. Almost 535. That poor engine has seen quite a bit of time on the rails. But like I say, it runs like a top. It's been taken care of. Don't be put off by these two features. Well, I had to switch out the Berkshire. It started acting up halfway through the video here. That's usually how it goes, though. Whenever the camera's out, these things like to act up. Tony and Mike, if you're watching, I believe you'll be seeing the Berkshire here pretty soon. Sorry. But anyways, guys, let's go ahead and check out this next feature. I've got all the other engines turned off. Let's go ahead and get back to our menu here. The next feature we're going to check out is the clicky-clack feature or sound effect here in this menu. Go ahead and click it and turn it on. This is a pretty cool sound effect. It's one I don't normally get to use a whole lot. What this does is when the engine reaches speeds above 25 miles an hour, after a couple minutes you'll notice the sounds of the engine chuffing or the diesel roar will go away, and then you're left with sounds as if you were riding in a passenger car behind it. You get the clicky-clack sound effect of if it was rolling over the rails, as well as sound effects of passing by crossing gates and stuff like that. You hear the ding, ding, ding. Like I say, a pretty cool feature. I just don't get to hear it a whole lot. What do you guys say we go ahead and check it out? Now if we go ahead and bring the engine back below 25 miles an hour, it'll go back to its normal sound. Pretty neat. Another cute little sound effect you can find in here is the train wreck sound. Let's see if we can find it here. There it is under number 7. Let's go ahead and try this out with the Alco PA.
Stop the train. Who's dirty there? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm all right. What happened? You need some help over here.
Moving down to the menu button down over here accesses some of the more features of these engines. For instance, here we have sound. We'll click on that and you can change the various sounds of the engine. For instance, the bell, the horn, the engine sounds. Let's say you're more into the traditional style of running trains and you don't want to hear any of the engine sounds. You can come in here and turn them all the way down. However, leave the sounds of the horn and the bell, and that's all you hear when you play them. Turn them back up, we just come back in here and we can turn them up again. Pretty neat little feature. Same thing with the horn and the bell, you can turn them off if desired. Accent volumes, which is the crew talk and whatnot. Coming back here we have the control feature. You have control for turning the smoke volume up or down. For MTH engines you got a minimum, medium, and max. If you can tell, I leave all mine on max. Who would have thought, right? But you can also turn off and on ditch lights, the max speed for the engine, acceleration rate and deceleration rate, labored smoke. Just access to a bunch of really cool features here on the engines. Also found down here in this menu button, you can scroll down to Advanced. And this is where you can create and customize your lash-ups. We did a video on this in the past, and I'll try and include a link in the description below if you would like to check that out. But also down here is probably one of the coolest features of these engines. That is the record and playback feature. Did you guys know that you could record your engines and then play them at a later date? Let's say you wanted to record a running session for yourself later. I don't know why you would want to limit yourself to playing in the train room, but you can if you want to. Record a running session, play it at a later date, and everything is automated on its own. The layout comes to life all by itself with one press of a button. I think this is such a really cool feature. It's really a great way to impress some friends that you might have over to check out the layout. There's nothing like pressing a button and the layout coming to life all on its own. I've gone ahead and recorded a running session by itself. I'll go ahead and play it for you guys. Now, of course, I had to film this on the second layout. We were having some technical difficulties on the first layout. What can I say? Since we're filming tonight, of course, the trains have to act up and fight back. You can see by the level of my drink I'm getting a little aggravated. But that's not going to take away from the coolness of this feature. I still did get a running session recorded, and we're going to play it back. The coolest part about this, like I say, is just pressing a button and the layout taking alive, or coming alive all by itself. I'm going to go ahead and press the button, and I'm going to set the remote on the table, and you're going to see the layout is fully automated by itself. Let's go ahead and get started. Isn't that awesome? That's one of my favorite features of the MTH DCS system and these engines. I think that's so cool. And it's real easy to do. Like I say, all you got to do is come down here to this menu button, scroll down to Advanced, and then scroll down to Record and Playback. To record a running session, you select this soft key. Once you're done recording, you hit the Stop soft key, and then you can save that running session into one of 3 files. When you want to play it at a later date, obviously here's the play button, and that's what we just did. Like I say, I think that's such a cool feature. It offers a lot of wow factor. You can really impress a couple friends that come over to the layout. As I mentioned earlier in the video, the DCS system, along with the TIU, has the capability to control the older conventional-only styled trains. These trains being operated or run by just the direct power that is applied to the tracks, whereas the command control engines receive constant 18 volts and receive their signals from the system itself. The TIU in its standard form comes with 2 ports called fixed voltage and 2 ports as variable. The variable voltage receives whatever power you put into it, normally an 18-watt brick, and then you can control the amount of power going out of those ports to the track. Constant voltage ports, again, they just feed whatever is fed. You can change them up. You can set them all to constant, or you can set them all to variable, depending upon whatever you want. You can set them all to variable as long as you have a separate transformer or brick powering the TIU itself. This particular layout that you're looking at is fed nothing but powered bricks. They all get 18 volts. Here you can see a Lionel post-war 2343 Santa Fe sitting here live on the tracks that is getting fed a constant 18 volts at the moment. We know if the power was interrupted, then it would trip the E-unit and this thing would go flying off the rails like a rocket. Luckily, we haven't had that problem yet. However, we can control it. With the track button here, or the TR button, we click that, and you can now see all your variable voltage ports on the TIUs. I did name this track T2 to make it a little bit easier to find. I have 2 TIUs here in the train room, so like I say, this made it a little bit easier to find versus hunting for the track, as I only use this track for conventional only engines with the bricks. On the layout behind us, or the first layout, that layout is fed power by ZW transformers. I have all the ports on that TIU set up as constant voltage, so whatever power they're getting is what's being put out. I still control them the old school way with the ZW handles applying power to the track if I want to run the conventional only trains. But anyways guys, let's try this out. We'll select T2. You can see right now it's at its 18 volts. However, with the thumb wheel, we can now control the power going to the track. You can see the engine reacting or powering down, and now it's shut off. And then, like I say, we control it just like a conventional engine. Hit direction. Pretty neat, isn't it? One item to note though, be very cautious, especially with my system. I don't know if this is something normal, but I will run some post-war conventional engines on this track, and then I'll power the layout down and forget about it, walk away, come back the next day or a couple days later, whatever have you. Whenever I go to plug the system back in or power it back up, the system regenerates and goes back to its standard form, throwing 18 volts to the tracks here, and these engines will go flying, hauling ass down the layout. I've had multiple derailments and stuff like that. It's an ugly mess. So after you're done running the engines, I would highly suggest taking them off the tracks to save yourself some headache and some possible damage. Our last feature that I thought we'd take a quick look at for this video is what's called the Doppler effect, which can be triggered by hitting the 0 button here at the bottom. This is a pretty cool little sound effect. It makes the layout sound a lot bigger, or feel a lot bigger than it really is. To activate it, when you press this button, what this does is the engine becomes very quiet in one spot, and as it comes and travels the rails, it gets louder and louder, kind of as if you were standing on the side of the rails, viewing it as it's approaching, and then the closer it gets, the louder it gets, and then it passes by, and then the sounds dissipate less and less, and it gets quiet again. Like I say, a really cool sound effect. It works the best when the trains are traveling at higher speeds. Unfortunately, I do not do that. I like the slow operation of my modern engines. So this is another feature I don't really use a whole lot, but I do think it's a really cool feature. What do you say we go ahead and check it out with this ES44AC? What do you guys think? That's some cool stuff, isn't it? I think it is. I really got to give it to MTH. I really think they packed a lot into this system. As I said at the beginning of this video, there is a ton of stuff that comes along with this system. I possibly could not try and fit it all into one video. And to be honest, I think this video is just about long enough. Maybe we'll go over some more stuff in the future. As I said before, I'm just a hobbyist. I haven't accessed all the potential of this system myself. But like I say, let me know what you guys think. Is there anything else we should check out with this system? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. For whatever reason, this was one of the hardest ones to make. We had a lot of technical difficulties, and the train's fighting back. I'm not sure what's going on. But I do hope you enjoyed the video. I greatly appreciate all the support. You guys are great. A big salute to all of you. But anyways, guys, until next time, my name is Zach, and this is Country Bunkers Trains. Y'all take care. I'll see you the next go-around.